There you go.
Welcome to our channel. 第一期我们就说了，我们买了比特币，然后上一期关于应对通货膨胀的投资，我们又提到说买比特币，然后这一期我们接着来说一下 crypto. Which coin you want to talk about?
Well, full disclosure. In order to kind of know what crypto is and to talk intelligently about the crypto, you kind of need 4 years in the space, because the crypto space is really dominated by the most well-known cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin, right? And the way Bitcoin algorithm is set up is that every 4 years, the supply of Bitcoin is cut in half.
What happened to those amount not available anymore?
So the amount of Bitcoin that is produced every year is determined by the block size. As a result of this, every 4 years we have so-called halving cycle. 2024 we will have the fourth halving. So obviously nobody can predict the future, but all the models, all the estimates so far have been really accurate. You can't predict the price, but you can predict the value with so-called stock to flow model, right? So everybody who's kind of researched cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is aware of the stock to flow model. So, but approximately every 4 years the price goes up 10 times. The halving event happened May 11th, 2020. After the halving event, there is 18 months where the price goes very high and then goes back down. It will probably peak end of this year, and then the price will go down.
比特币呢是第一种出现的加密货币。比特币之前的数据显示，每4年它是一个循环，每4年比特币会变少一半。我们现在是在第3个 cycle， 是从5月11号2020年开始的。Usually 从开始18个月，这个比特币就会一直增长 grow。第2个 cycle 的时候，第2轮的时候，大概是2017年左右，比特币的价格是在3,400 2,3千的这个价格，所以我们现在这个时间点是第2轮的10倍。相对于第一个 cycle 的话，相对于第1轮的话 ，literally 比特币已经增长了100倍了。Elon Musk is promoting the Doge coin a lot. I don't know. I mean, why they call this dog? It's like let's send Dogecoin to the moon.
Yeah, I can't predict the Dogecoin because with Dogecoin.
哥哥说他也预测不了狗狗币的这个走势会是什么样。我真的不喜欢这个名字。Douchebag。每次我要说 Dogecoin， 我就会想到 douchebag。昨天有点降了，昨天从70美分 （70 cents to 40 cents） ，right？
From 70 to 40, but throughout the day it went back up to like almost 60 today.
从70美分降到了40美分，但在昨天以前它是一直涨的，然后昨天出现了小幅度的下降，今天又涨回到60美分了。Buy some?
No.
现在是5月的第2个周末了，刚刚过了母亲节。接下来的2个周吧，5月还剩下2个多星期，5月大概就在这个循环里面买比特币最好的时间点了。
If the stock to flow model is correct, it will basically say that Bitcoin is going to reach $100,000 around July or August. Okay. And then after that, it will probably go up to maybe September and October. I don't know to how much, but maybe more than 100,000. But then it will probably come down below 100,000, maybe to 80,000, 70,000. I don't think it will go below that ever. But if you buy it now at 57, if that model holds, Bitcoin will never be below this price again. So you will never actually lose money. But again, not a financial advice.
Yeah.
Don't sue
Don't
me.
sue us.
You can make a bet, but you can't predict.
根据以前的模型参考的话，到7、8月份比特币会涨到10万。那如果说就是说到7、8月份涨到10万的话，即使它有回落，应该不会落到低于今天的价格。所以你现在买入的话，至少你不会亏。我们每天听很多关于比特币的大家的讨论，podcast, TikTok, what else? YouTube, Twitter,
YouTube.
Yeah, 能看的资源我们统统在看 ，Yeah， 就是从它之前的这个模型来讲，它的这种模型对比特币价格走势的预估是非常精确的。OK， 我们看看这本书叫什么啊？这本书叫《The Fourth Turning》。
Every generation, every 80 to 100 years throughout the history, there are turnings. So turnings is when social dynamic and economic dynamic changes. It turns. The first turning is the turning right after a crisis. So, for example, in the last 80 years, the crisis was World War II. It was a very bad event. Right after the World War II, there was this first turning where there was a lot of economic growth, a lot of baby boom. So there was a second turning, approximately from 1964 to 1984, right? So right after the JFK was killed, that was the second turning. And then after the second turning, there was the third turning, which was called unraveling, until 2008, right? And then from 2008 until 2030, that's the crisis. And in 2008, as you know, we had this major economic collapse. You would
Economy
say that
drop.
we came back from it, but we really didn't, right? Because we did not start producing more than we used to. And so, according to this book, right now we are in crisis, and things are about to get worse as a society manage to navigate this fourth turning, the crisis. Things will get better in about maybe 10 years.
10 years. Okay, so 第一个轮回啊，就是第二次世界大战。When is World War II?
1939 to 1945.
39年到45年。那第二个圈儿就是从大概64年到84年，我妈出生的前后，我们有越南战争，汽油涨得很厉害，然后也是有通货膨胀，然后再就是种族之间也发生了各种各样的问题。
Yeah, 80s and 90s, we had a lot of race riots, just like what we had right now. We had a lot of culture war, like all this feminism came out.
People have a conflict between
like
each
the
other.
Los Angeles riots that are pretty much the same as what happened with George Floyd. In the 70s, we had stagflation, right? It's like inflation with stagnation on top of each other. So we had gasoline prices go like through the roof.
第三个圈就是84年到08年，然后你就看到所有东西都在复苏，都在繁荣，都在兴旺。我们现在就在第四个圈里面，就是它是从08年。
It's a big shitstorm.
You want to believe or you don't want to believe, it's a bad time. 这个圈是一个不好的时间圈。
But the good news is that this thing is very cyclical. So it's not the first time we had bad times, right? This was the most recent 80-year cycle. Before then, we also had the four turning cycle. The one cycle before World War II was the Civil War cycle, right? That was from 1860, right? The American Civil War, 1860 to 1880, then 1880 to 1900. Then 1900 to 1920. And before then, starting with the American Revolution.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's every 80 years, because every 80 years is an average lifespan of a person, right? People live on average 80 years, plus minus. If the history doesn't repeat itself, it definitely rhymes. So there was a lot of shitstorm happening between 1929 to 1940. 45, right? That was the last fourth turning. There was a Great Depression. It lasted for 20 years. There was World War II.
就是上一个循环也是这样嘛，最后的那20年，29年大概到45年、47年那个20年也是经济大萧条啊，Great Depression and what?
World War II.
第二次世界大战啊
Censorship.
没有家的那种饿死的人啊，也是很糟糕。Crisis,
big crisis.
是每一个圈儿，它你看就是大概20年嘛，那么每4个圈儿大概就是80年左右，我们把它叫一个 cycle。每一个就是轮回里面最后的这个第4个这个20年啊，通常都是不好的时间。
I heard about it on one of the podcasts I was listening to, actually a Bitcoin podcast.
哥在听比特币的播音频道的时候，那里面的人提到了这本书，作者是 William Strauss。是2个作者 co-author 这本书，另外一个作者叫 Neil Howe Howe。
The book is really hard to read, very hard to read.
这本书很不好阅读，博后学霸在此。
Yeah, it's like
他已经习惯了读那种就是这种科学性的文献啊，但对他还是感觉这本书很难读。So about relationship today, I want to talk about ignorance.
Ignoring when you're like not paying attention to your partner and your partner is not cool with it, right? So I guess both you and your partner have to be real on the same page. Like if you're really working, your partner really needs to know that you're working. You're just not going to be present because you're going to be. But if this is your time to be with your partner and then you're ignoring them, then that's a big freaking problem.
Trying to remember ball 1, ball 2, ball 3. I started with my mouth, so I was like,
I was telling people what it's like to be ignored and then you ignore. That was the example.
I mean, seriously, I didn't ignore, just my brain is not working well.
你是个贱，你贱。
可是我就再见了。
Yeah,
我整天骂人再见
her brain
了。
doesn't work. She's been really thinking about growing
我
channel.
们现在大多数成年人都有工作，你在专注于你的工作，那这样的时间点是有情可原的。最不好的这个忽视彼此，就是说。两个人都是在空闲，你的伴侣希望你多一点时间，多一点精力放到他的身上，但是你一门心思的埋头在你自己喜欢的这些电子设备上也好，还是你自己喜欢的东西上也好，你就完全把你这个伴侣晾到一边了。我为什么想谈一谈这个？就是今天早上我明显的就感觉我把哥哥给忽视了。像哥哥说的，我的精力在growing 我的 business 上 ，growing 我的这个 creator finance 上，我很大精力放到这个上。前一个周我的瑜伽锻炼。 也不像往常那么多，然后昨天去上瑜伽教培项目，突然给自己的身体加了那么多训练之后，我昨天晚上就很累。今天早上呢，哥哥来 approach 我就觉得说啊 ，leave me alone。哥哥就心理上就应该是不太高兴了吧？我很就是在意他不高兴的时刻，就是因为他平常不高兴的时刻太少了。就是作为男性来讲，很大一部分我们女性理解不了的，就是说。 当他来 approach 你的时候，你拒绝了他，对他心里是一种很大的打击。这就是男性跟女性之间的不同。反正有些细微的东西需要你自己去琢磨。叫好欢螺，它就是谐音嘛，好欢乐。然后这个是小龙虾味的，我觉得第一它没那么辣，当然我没有用里面的辣包，我只用了螺蛳粉包和小龙虾酱味包。然后经验就是不要把一包都放上，放半包就够了，因为都放上有点咸。 挺好吃的，推荐。
You're kidding, right?
My food is not working, 哥哥。
You don't know my strategy. My strategy is like 20,000 pages.
Recycle 相对于上一次轮换。Cycle.
Not recycle, baby. Cycle.
到这儿。
Cheers. Bye bye.
Be kind.